All right, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's excited. Again, tonight you're at a myEcon presentation. My name is Strose Hill, and I'm an Executive Vice President with the company. I'm also the owner of my own firm called the Legacy Financial Group, and we're so excited to have you here tonight. My goal tonight is to make sure we cover information that can help each and every one of you. If you came here tonight to get free financially, you're going to see how to do that. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're going to learn how to fix that. If you want to make some more money so you can do whatever the heck you want, you're going to learn that too. So get ready, take copious notes, and we're going to rock and roll. As we get started, we said welcome, and notice the name of our team is called the S.M.A.R.T Evolution. A lot of people always ask me, what does that stand for? The two actually stands for two companies that work together. That would be my personal firm and myEcon. We work together. The SMART stands for saving money always requires training. Would y'all agree with that? Yes. All right. It can also stand for save money and reduce taxes. All right, and that's important. It could also stand for save marriage and reduce tension. All right. SMART can stand for a whole lot of things, but that's what the SMART stands for. The evolution is what it's going to take for us to change our financial situations. We make it clear to people that we're probably going to have to evolve, do something different. That's going to take an evolution, but probably for most of us, because most people are stubborn, it's probably going to require a revolution to get this thing on. So the S.M.A.R.T Evolution, that is our team name, and now you know what we stand for. And just in case you don't understand, let's explain what actually happens. Now, assume that everyone here has seen, what's the show with Steve Harvey? What's the name of the show? Family Feud. Everybody's seen Family Feud. Do you know what happens when they get into a tie? It's called what? Sudden death. So you have to put your hand on the buzzer, and they're going to ask you a question. You have to answer it based on how people surveyed think. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, if you go up there answering questions the way you think, what's going to happen? You're going to lose. Okay, so you might be the brightest person in the world, but they said 100 people surveyed. Here's what they said. That's the person who wins the game. All right, so here's my first question to the person that's ready to win. The question is, do people need a job, or do people need B, income? How would they answer? Job. A job. You got it right, because the average person believes when they need more money, they go get a what? A job. Now, we're going to learn tonight what they actually need is the ability to make more what? Income. That's what they really need. Now, if it comes from a job, hallelujah. If it comes from commission, hallelujah. If it comes from dividends off of their investments, hallelujah. My point is, there's more than one way to make what? Money. But the masses believe when I need some more money, go get a what? Job. That's why tonight we're going to make it clear that the evolution will be monetized, because it's about your money. Everybody good? So let's talk about it. Now, one of the things we do before we actually go into our presentations, we get excited about what it is we stand for. So we call this our good news report. How many of y'all like hearing good news? The last couple of days, all I've been hearing is bad news, but we got some good news tonight. The good news is, out of all of our associates that's among us tonight, any of you get a new associate in the month of September yet? Anybody getting close? All right, y'all know every month that is our what? Number one goal is to put people in business, because when we put people in business, it increases their chances of accomplishing all the things that we do. Would y'all agree with that? Yes. Okay. Next, anybody paid off a bill besides Ramika here? We know Ramika's knocking it out. It's paid off another bill, okay? See, that's what this is all about. We get excited and we celebrate the fact that we are associating with people who are fighting to get debt-free. I think that's important. All right? Anybody that you hanging around, they don't want to be debt-free, here's my advice to you. Find you some new friends. Okay? You need to get around people who are fighting to be free. We live in the land of the free, well, let's get free. Next, bonus. Anybody close to getting a bonus besides me? All right? Y'all know every month, every week, every day, if you work like you want to, they pay out a what? Bonus. That bonus is $1,000. You can make here an extra $2,000 or $3,000 in a bonus. I think that's a big deal. Yes. Now here's something I think is very important. Do you have your $3,000 emergency fund? Raise your hand in the air. Wave it like you just don't care. All right, we got folks in here that have their emergency funds paid. Now, if you don't, you should know that that's something you should be working towards, correct? Yes. All right, because we teach here that you want to get $3,000 saved up as quick as possible. So if something does happen, that's the money that keeps you out of your invested money for your retirement future. Does that make sense? Yes. And next, has anybody here this month brought anything that they wanted? You bought something you wanted. Okay, nigga, what you buy, girl?
Some clothes, shoes, and yeah.
Okay, some clothes and shoes. There's nothing wrong with that. If you work hard, you ought to be able to get the things that you want. Okay, so we think that's a big deal also. And how many of you have moved some product on your website? Y'all, all the hands should be up. All right, so let's get excited. So that's what we do. And that's the good news about this particular company. All right, so let's move on. Now, we're going to ask you some qualifying questions because we found out over the years everybody really doesn't qualify to be in business with us. So we're looking for a special kind of person, and I hope it's you. First of all, my first question to you is this, and you can write this down. You don't have to scream it out, but just write down your own number. It says, for money not to be an issue, what kind of extra minimum cash flow would you like to have coming in every month? So, not being ridiculous, in your mind, if you said, man, if I had an extra, whatever that number is, boy, I would be straight. All right, so you need to write that number down, okay? Does anybody feel comfortable sharing what that number is tonight? Anybody want to share what that number is, that minimum amount that you would like to have?
$500.
Extra $500, excellent. All right, so tonight, we're going to set this whole thing up for at least how to make a minimum of an extra what? $500. Now, for those of you that may not think that's significant, I need you to understand something. When this country went through the worst, I guess they call it a recession, back in 2008, people were losing their homes left and right. They said that if the average person that was losing a home had an extra what? $500, guess what? Their house would not have went into foreclosure. So $500 is very significant. Now, the next question for you is this. To accomplish this goal, would you be willing to work extra hours other than your job if that's what you're doing? You don't have to answer that, but you need to think about it. Because the extra $500, have y'all figured out, is not going to fall right out the sky? All right? You might have to do something for it. So the question is, would you do something extra if you knew you could get that extra $500? And I hope the answer is yes. Now, the next question is, do you have the willingness to learn something new? So if it's going to take you to learn something different in order to get that extra $500, do you have the willingness to do that? Because that's got to be something you're willing to do, want to do, to make it happen. See, there's a lot of people out there know they need an extra $500, but they're not willing to do what's necessary to get it, so they keep having those challenges that they're having, and they want all their friends at work to listen to them. And they haven't gotten to where I am yet, because I would tell them to either zip it or do something about it, and I think that's not being mean. Because when I go into work, I don't want to be depressed either. So I don't want to hear all your problems that you're not willing to what? Fix. All right? So I would say, I don't want to hear it. All right? Just trying to stay in a good mood. Next, do you have discipline and a great work ethic? Do you know to make additional money if you're already working and you have to do something that you understand is your business? Guess what you better have? Some discipline. All right? Because we can't treat you like an employee. We can't call you up and say, are you doing what you said you want to do right now? Now, I guess we could, but it shouldn't require all that. If it's important enough to you, you should set aside the time necessary, work the time so that the business can work. Does that make sense? Yes. All right? Awesome. Next, do you have credibility with others? And do people trust you and your opinion? Do you know we have found out that there's some folks that they might not trust you so much. Matter of fact, you might still owe them some money. So if you start talking to them about how to get financially free and all of a sudden they remember you still owe them a 20, they're looking at you like you what? Like crazy. All right, so I think it's important that people that come on board have what? Credibility. It shouldn't be a struggle asking your friend to take a look at something that could possibly change their life. If it's a good friend and you have credibility, they should say, sure, man. Because if you ask me, I know you would help me out. And we make it like that. Does that make sense to everyone? And last but not least, are you a competitor or do you like to compete? Now, some people don't understand this. We've had some people say, I don't like to compete, and I have to remind them, yes you do. You compete every day you show up on your job on time. If you don't believe me, start showing up late and leave early. And somebody that does show up on time and leave when they tell them to is going to have your spot. They're going to find somebody else. You're competing every day. But what we do around here, we call it fun competition. That means I bet I get my house paid off before you, girl, you know, whatever the case may be. Wouldn't that be a nice way to compete? I bet you I'll get out of all my debt before you. I bet you I'll make an extra $1,000 before you get the extra $1,000. You know, see, that's fun competition because it makes all of us what? better. So we're looking for people who understand the importance of competing. Any question there? Because if you answered all these right, you might be the one we're looking for. All right? Now, what happens is this. This is all about what we call personal financial success. It's different for everyone, but let me explain what it really is. Now, this point right here, you may have never heard before, but you need to write it down. First of all, it says, you must work 100 hours a day. Okay, you got it. If you're trying to figure out how do you get free financially, you got to work 100 hours a day. Now, whenever I say this to people, they give me the deer stare, like y'all looking at me now. All right, how in the heck do you do that? There's only 24 hours in a day. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's two ways of making money that was not introduced to us traditionally. And that's why we're here, so that we can learn. First of all, we're going to talk to you tonight about making what is called leveraged income. That's another way of making income, and the other way is called residual income. Now let's explain. How do you work these 100 hours a day? First of all, leveraged income says that you get paid off the efforts of others. Now if you're trying to wonder what that is, like employees are leveraged by the what? The employer. The employer makes a certain amount of money off each employee. Does everybody understand that? Because we got some people, when they get involved in a business, sometimes they go down this road. Is this one of them things where you get some people and I said, well, where do you work? Are you the only one that works there? Do they have a department that hires people? You know, and the answer to that, of course, is what? Yes. But see, they only understand it from the viewpoint of an employee, not as an employer. We're teaching you how to think like an employer. And you don't want to be the only person in your business, because then it's going to take a whole lot more time for you to accomplish your goal. So that's why we teach leveraged income. Now to give you an example of that, it works like this. If you had 40 associates that got involved with you and each of them worked 2.5 hours a day, you are now working 100 hours a day. But you're not the only one doing it. This will change your life, because most of us don't have enough time to try to do it totally on our own. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. Okay, next. Residual income. What is residual income? Residual income is learning to do the work one time but continuing to get paid for it. Quick example, that would be like someone installing cable into your house. How many times do they install cable?
One time.
One time. Now how often do people pay them?
Every month.
Every month. So they got a system where somebody physically does the work. They say, you like the picture, looks nice. And when they leave every month, you faithfully send them a what? A check. That's why Time Warner's kids will never have to worry about nothing in this lifetime. Nothing. Because we make sure that they're squared away. So the question is, what about your family? What about you? So we're going to teach people that there's more than one way to make money, like we were taught, which is called linear income. That means you go trade time for money. That's what our college students are learning. They don't want to do that same thing that their parents did and just get by. Life is more important than just getting by. If that's all life is ahead, I would go home and just chill out and say, what the heck? Okay? I want to live the life. This is America. Thank God for America. All right? So if you understand that, that's what it works. Now, what I want is to make sure my first time people seeing this, because I want you to be honest here, guess what? I'm going to ask you a question that everyone should know the answer. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what is their product? How many of y'all know this symbol right here? Who does it represent? McDonald's. Y'all, everybody here ever heard of McDonald's? Okay. All right. And tonight you heard about Too Smart Evolution. But what I want to ask you a question real quick, simply put, what is McDonald's, what is their product? What do they do? Y'all can help me. What do they do?
Sell hamburgers.
Sell hamburgers? Okay. All right. Would y'all agree?
Yeah.
Okay. That's, if I asked 100 people, 99% of them would say that's what they do. But tonight I'm going to show you what they actually do. What McDonald's does is they're in what is called ownership duplication. They're in ownership duplication. We're in ownership duplication. Now the next question is, it says, how do they serve the entrepreneur? How does McDonald's serve the entrepreneur? What do they allow an entrepreneur to do? Y'all talk to me. What do you think they allow them to do?
Open up their own.
Open up their own franchise, right? So McDonald's will allow people who want to be in business for themselves become a franchise owner. Isn't that something?
Yes.
So McDonald's understands that we won't sell 1 billion hamburgers if we don't have enough what? Restaurants out there. They're called outlets. See, we understand the same thing. So in myEcon, we understand that we offer people a what? an independent business ownership position, which is like a franchisee, so that their goal is to open up what? Outlets. The more people we put in business, the more people is going to hear the story about what it is we do, showing people how to get free financially. Now, the next thing you have to look at is, well, how do they serve the consumer? You see, McDonald's has an expansion program. I don't know if y'all know that, but when Ray Kroc got started in business, Ray Kroc found out that the average person didn't have a business, but they wanted one. So they gave them an opportunity to actually go out and be in business for themselves. So every time they showed that program and a person bought in, they started to do what? Expand. Now there's a McDonald's pretty much in every corner there is in the United States. And they put up a sign when they get ready to build one that says what? Here we grow again. How many of y'all seen that sign? All right, here we grow again. Well, we are expanding the same way. Every time we put a new associate in business, guess what? Here we grow again. And we got some friends here that have put in business from Arkansas. They didn't have to go all the way to Arkansas to get in business, but they saw the opportunity and they got involved. That's another outlet. So whoever that person that put them in business has an outlet now here in Greensboro. Isn't that powerful? Wow. See, that's what it's all about. So what happens with that? Well, now, what do they serve the consumer? Well, guess what? This is what they serve the consumer. McDonald's has a fast food menu, do they not? Yes. This is where you get the hamburgers, the French fries, and the burritos, and whatever. I mean, if they can put it in the store, they'll do it. Guess who sells more toys in the United States than anybody else? McDonald's. Some people say Toys R Us. No, it's McDonald's. Every time that kid get a Happy Meal, there's a toy in there. They move more toys than anybody because they have more what? Outlets. Does that make sense? Now let's take a look at what we do in myEcon. First of all, is personal financial success or financial education and services. Now when you look at that, e-commerce is one of the things that we do here. E-commerce is we're putting people in business on the internet. The reason we choose the internet is because when does the internet close down, y'all?
Never.
Never. So if I have an internet business, when am I in business?
Always.
All the time. 24/7, 365. So we have a unique way to put people in business where they're in business all the time. That solves another tax issue that most people might have. Next, we talk about cash flow strategies. Inside the software, there is a program that teaches people where they are financially. They tell us where they want to end up, and the program shows them what it's going to take to get there. It's like a financial roadmap. We call it the cash flow strategies. Also, asset, income, and legal protection. All of that's in a program we have called the Family Shield 360. And we'll talk about that a little more. And of course, we also have credit restoration. Y'all know folks in America, their credit for the most part is what? Jacked up. Okay? They can act like it is and no, it's jacked up. Alright? So we have a solution for improving their credit score. When they improve their credit score, they can get loans at a cheaper rate. They can pay bills at a cheaper rate. This saves them money, and that's what it's all about. We think it's a big deal. Alright? Income shifting is what we do. We're going to teach people how to shift their income and do something positive with the money. Let's take a look at the first thing that we do. First of all, we have what is called minimized taxes. We think every red-blooded American should be interested in minimizing their taxes. What do y'all think? Okay? Yes. So if there was a way to minimize the taxes so I can keep more of my money, do you think we should be telling everybody we know that there's a solution for that? All right, so we'll talk about that. And you notice what it says. Being in business for yourself actually makes that a reality. Second thing we do is generate business income. Now they kind of interrelated, but we want you to understand when we say generate business income, we're talking about everyone that has a job should also have a plan B. I look at people all the time and say, man, that's great, I'm glad you love your job, but what's your plan B? That means if they take A from you, what's it going to be? Alright? And we know most folks, the B is going to stand for what? Broke. Alright? So we're going to give them a plan B, and we think that that should make working on a job a whole lot better, because I know if they take it away from me, I got something else I can do. I think that's a big deal. Now within that, there are a couple of things that we do. Within generating business income, we do that by showing people how to reduce their expenses and how to eliminate their debt, because that's a program inside our software, and you'll see how that works. And number 3 is asset accumulation. after it's all said and done, a wise person takes the money that they're used to spending. When they can spend less of it, they take the difference and put it into what? Investments, so they eventually can get their money returning the favor, their money working for them. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now here's what's important for us to understand. Hopefully you can see this. You see, McDonald's, their expansion program, do we understand it?
Yes.
Okay, everybody here has had a Big Mac before, right? So the bottom line is, that's their expansion program. And you also heard of what myEcon's expansion program is. But here's the challenge. You see, McDonald's, if you decide tonight that you love the McDonald's concept, one of the most profitable business on the planet, and you want to get one of those franchises, I hope you have anywhere from $500 to $1 million plus. Now, if you have that tonight, we have someone outside that can direct you on how you can get you a McDonald's franchise. Now, could that be the biggest reason why most people probably don't have a McDonald's franchise? Okay? Well, we have a solution for that. Because the person that we talk to in myEcon, the investment for them to be in business for themselves and get all the deductions just like a franchise owner is a measly $199.95. That's right, we set it up front. That's what it is. And my position is, if a person understands the benefits of being in business and they are scared to death, or, ooh, that's a whole lot of money, and they've been working for 3 or 4 or 5 years and honestly can't put their hands on $199.95 to make a decision to change their life, reduce their, minimize their tax, reduce their expenses, all those things. What do y'all think about that? That person really needs to be in here. They need to understand, I really need to get involved tonight because there is a problem. So, if we understand how McDonald's work, you should have no misunderstanding of what it takes to be successful here in myEcon. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, awesome. So let's talk about the estimated time commitment. We're going to be honest with you up front. Because again, some people get involved with things, Tony, and guess what? They don't think they have to do anything. They think because I joined something, the money just flows in. People actually do that. Unbelievable. We've already said, we said all the things that's important. Discipline, time, you got to put time in it, but it's a good time. So let's talk about it. First of all, a person we believe needs to commit at least a minimum of 10 to 15 hours a week towards building their business. And what that means, teammates, is they need to block out a certain part of time on whatever days you say you're going to work, and during that period, guess what you do? Work. You work your business. You don't go, your friend call you up and say, girl, can you pick me up, or can you pick little Johnny up from school? And if it's during the time you say you're working, you know what the answer is? I would like to, but I'm on my job. Speaking a language that they understand. They don't understand that entrepreneur stuff. Say, I'm on my job, I wish I could. If they ask you, we get ready to move this weekend, and you know on Saturdays, from this time to that time, this is what you do, is your business. Can you help them move? No, because you're on your job. Once you develop that type of discipline for your business, you will, I guarantee it, you will be successful. All right? But if you allow somebody, every time you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to do, and deep down inside, you know it might come with a little rejection because your bestest friend might say no to you, and then it hurts a little hard, and then you're going to run home to the house, and then her friend said, girl, we're going shopping. You just drop what you're doing and go shopping. You can't win like that. You got to say, no, I'm on my what? I'm on my job, and I don't get off until whatever time you said you're going to finish. Now that's how you're supposed to run your business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? Also, 2 to 3 hours a week is committed to doing what we're doing right now. We call them business briefings. Some people call them different things. Doesn't matter. It's where we meet, talk about the business. Okay? So you need a lot for that. And we do that here on Thursday nights. Okay? The other hours is for conducting entrepreneurial presentation. Now it takes many forms to do that. We have what is called a sizzle call, a 3-way call. You can talk, you reach out to people on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, live webinars. We do all of that. We also have what is called in-home meetings, where we do what is called a kitchen table. There's a reason we teach our team to get their behind to the kitchen table. You know why you go to the kitchen table, don't want to sit at that dining room table with all the pretty stuff on it that nobody touches? If you get to the kitchen table, that's where the family meets. That's where they have discussions. That's where it's a meaningful place that they meet in that household. So you want to get to the kitchen table. I don't want to be in the dining room where, can I touch this? Can I move this? I don't want to do that. I want to go to the kitchen table. Very important. Then I'm going to give my what? My presentation. Also, we have what is called house parties. All right? This is where we get to introduce what we're doing to our friends when we newly come on board. Invite them to where they're comfortable. If they're comfortable to coming over to your home, invite them. All right? Now, we call it a going out party. That's what we call it, a going out party. You can call it a coming out party, but you might be a little careful with that one. But the bottom line is, they're coming over to see what it is you're what? You're doing. Now, notice what it says right here. It says, don't what? Don't explain. Now, some of us feel like I'm being deceptive. No, you're not being deceptive. Let them think whatever they want to think. Because what they're doing is coming over to find out what it is you get ready to go out and do. All right? And if a friend gets upset with you, then I'm going to show you how to minimize your taxes, build business income so that you can minimize more of your taxes, and teach you how to save and invest money, and they got upset with you for that, again, you might need to still reevaluate who your friends are. All right? My friends better be excited, because if they ever came to me after that, after they got mad with me and asked me for some what? Some money, they'd be in trouble. They'd be in trouble. All right? Because I'm trying to share with them what I learned so they can get fixed too. All right? Next, it says you can meet in other local establishments. You can be a vendor. You know, you can get a vending booth. There's people that have programs all the time. Bookstores. You can meet people in bookstores, coffee shops, public library, churches. All of these places are like office space for you. So when a person comes in here, we don't want to hear, well, I don't have no office space. Who said you needed office space? You can meet people anywhere and share with them what it is you do. You can reach out to them on the internet. And then your goal, of course, if you reach out to them on the internet, is to bring them home so they can talk to someone personally. All right? And you can invite them to view your website, your personal website. We have a website, the S.M.A.R.T Evolution. You can take them there. We got presentations on there and information on there also. So there's no excuse for people to see what it is you do. All right? So we want to make sure you got that squared away. So let's talk about myEcon. This is what it's all about. myEcon is short for My Economy. Everybody needs to take their right hand, put it over your heart, and tap it. And say, whose economy? My economy. All right? It's your economy. Who's the best person to take care of you? You are. That's your responsibility. But the problem is, too many Americans are sitting on, you know what, waiting for someone to take care of them. That's a problem. Ain't nobody going to take care of you better than you. All right? So we have the Personal Financial Success Company who's poised to make sure people know how to do that. Let's talk about the company a little bit. First of all, they're fast-growing, debt-free. Did I say debt-free? They're a debt-free company because they're going to be teaching us how to be what? Debt-free. Technology-driven, but I do want to make the point that the technology is not so difficult that you are required to be a rocket scientist in order to understand it. If you can point and click, you can make it here. It's that simple. Federal leadership team, the founders of the company and myself, long time ago, used to work in the same company teaching people how to get financially free marketing products that required us at that time to have a what? A license. Well, now, no license required. None. But we still are teaching people the same things, because I found out with them licensing products, if a client don't understand the importance of certain things, when they get in a financial crunch, guess what people did with them products? They dropped them. And they got this thing called chargebacks. So when a person don't finish paying for something, they say, you know that money we sent you last week? You need to send it back. And you be like, already paid my home note with that money. You know, what are you talking about? So that was a problem. So we're fortunate enough tonight to mention to you that we have no chargebacks in myEcon. So, personal financial success, what does it mean to you? You need to think about that. What does it mean to you to be personally financially successful? Well, we believe it boils down to what is called a lifestyle. All right? Everybody's got a different lifestyle. So let's talk about the lifestyle. This lifestyle, we're talking about the lifestyle of a young person. We have young people in the room with us tonight. You see, when they leave mom and daddy, they go out and they start becoming what I call a new worker. Now, while they are a new worker, there's things that they want. Weren't there things you wanted when you was 18, 19, 20 years of age? Man, all I could think about when I left home, you know, got to get a car, this, that, and the other. Now, so from 18 to 24, they're either going to go to school, they're going to get a job while they're in school, or they're going to be working, or all the above. It doesn't really matter. But if they worked on an average of 10 to 15 hours, they'd make about 650 bucks. Now, here's the deal. Their goal should be, in my opinion, to get on their own. Would y'all agree that's probably a good goal when you want to be grown? All right? It's hard to be grown in somebody else's house. Okay? So that should be something they work toward, get on their own. The next thing is they want to buy some stuff they want. They're young. They don't have nothing, so in their mind, there's a whole lot of stuff I need. So we want to make sure that those young people have the opportunity to do that. So what is some of the stuff that they need? Let's take a look at it. First of all, they probably want designer clothes and accessories. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
They want some designer stuff. They also, they play these video games. Boy, they want to play these video games, all right? No problem. Get you a big screen television and just have at it. How about a nice ride?
Of course.
All right? If it's a man, I know he wants a nice ride because he's trying to attract who? And what kind of car he gonna get, lady? No, he gonna get he gonna attract a woman in a hoopty? No, he gonna get a sports car. What color's gonna be?
Red.
See, look at that. Look at that. It's gonna be red because you know what he's out there for. He's a hunter. All right. Not only that, he wants the latest smartphone. All right. You got to have the latest smartphone today. How about exotic vacation? See. These kids today, the millennials, guess what they do? They go to spring break, boy, they be going to the Bahamas, they go to all these places. You know where I went? I went home, or I went to work. But they get to do all these exciting things, and that's fine, that's good, because there's more money flowing right now. And also, how about they're going to probably live in one of these nice, luxurious apartments, because they don't want to be tied down to any one place, and of course they want to have money to spend. Wouldn't that be pretty much straight for an 18 to 24-year-old? That's pretty much what they want to do. Well, guess what? We're going to show them here how they can make an extra $2,000 a month and make all that happen. They can just have fun. All right? Now, there's some of you I know is beyond that age, 24, all right? So we got something for you, too. So what we're going to do and make sure you understand that you have what is called your working years. I hope you had your fun. All right? Because now it's time to go to work. So we're going to look at about a 25-year-old who's mature now, and they realize, I need to save some money. So here's the deal. They got their working years, and then they also have their what? Retirement years. All right? Now during those working years, after school or whatever, they probably went out and got a so-called good job, or they started a business, or they're doing both. We got somebody here that's doing both. All right? And we kind of recommend that, doing both. And then they know down the road if they're going to retire, they're going to need some assets and investments that continue to make them money without them working. Because one day you're going to need your money to work for you because you won't be able to work or won't want to. Does that make sense? So if you take a person that works from 25 to 65, if they average to $30,000 a year, that's $1.2 million. The bottom line is, though, that person now is more concerned about their debt freedom date, the date they'll be debt free, because you know all that stuff they got when they were 18, 24? They now have some what? They have some debt that they got to pay off. So they need to identify their debt freedom date, and we identify that in the cash flow strategist. Along with that, they're going to identify their FIN number so that they'll know how much money they need in order for it to produce enough income for them to become debt free and financially independent. Does that make sense? So ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do here. All right? That's what we do in myEcon. Now, to keep it simple, we're going to give you a quick example. You see, when we said number one was minimize taxes, here's how we do that. If you look to your left, A, you see that this person has a what? A JOB. And they only knew how to get another JOB when they needed some more additional income. So they went out and got another one. Now, I'm not picking at this person because we didn't have enough space in here because I was in school working on a job. Actually had 5 jobs at the same time. I was in school full time. And the reason I bring this up because I run into people who can see that this can change their life, and they give me this impression that they don't have time. They so busy, but they broke. And I don't understand how you can be busy and broke. That means you're too busy doing things that don't work. You might need to change something. All right, so we're giving them something that can actually fix that. So here's the deal. After this person, you see they make 55 on one job, 5 on the other, that's a total of 60. After their itemized deductions of 15.2, their exemptions is 4 in the family, 15.2. If you add that up, that's $30,400 subtracted from 60. So their taxable liability is 29.6. Does everybody see that? Okay? Now, 29.6. So that's what they have to pay taxes on. But see, unlike that person, the B came to one of our business briefings. And they saw the importance of, yeah, I need some extra money, but we said there's a better way to get it. You need to make some additional money on being in a what? A business. So let's see what happens. They have the exact same situation with the exceptions of they made $5,000 in the business, they get a 1099 instead of a W-2. So after the deduction, something magical happens to this person. You see, because when you make a decision to be in business for yourself, guess what? Pretty much everything you do in life becomes tax deductible. Now, just in case you hadn't seen this before, Who don't mind reading this for me? Let my tax preparer read it.
475 tax deductions for businesses and self-employed individuals.
For who?
Businesses and self-employed individuals.
Okay, I hope y'all heard that. So they thought it was necessary to write a book to show people that are self-employed or business owners how they can take all these deductions. Now tonight, I'm not going to go over all 475 of them, but I'm going to pick 3 that I think are very, very important. Okay? Do you think they wrote a book like this for employees, you guys?
No.
No, they don't need one. If it did, it'd be a real thin book. All right? Because they don't have a lot of deductions or all that for employees. But they do have a lot for who? Business owners and the self-employed. So with that being said, let's take a look at something everybody pretty much uses. How many of y'all walked here tonight? Nobody? How many of y'all drove here tonight? Okay, all hands are up. Good. So if you drove here tonight in an automobile, guess what the government says about people who have a car and use that car for what? For business. The government says this person right here, they actually drove 20,000 miles, but 60% of those miles were business miles, which boils down to 12,000 miles. And this year we get 54 cents a mile. Last year it was 57 and a half, but 54. Guess what? 54 cents per mile times 12,000 is 6,480 miles. That's what they get to deduct from their taxable income. Now, the way you and I should be approaching this, who can afford in their right mind not to take a $6,000 deduction? Who you know that probably asked you for some money can afford not to take this deduction? Everybody needs this, but they don't know about it. That's why we exist. How about this? How many of y'all eat? Y'all eat out? We eat. Gotta eat, right? So guess what? When you go out to eat, if you talk about what? Business, all right? Make a contact, get a person's name, address, all that, a way to get back in touch with them. Guess what? Now the government says you can write off half that meal. So that meal right there, if I spent this much per year, 50% of that is $1,440. I get to subtract off my taxable income. Now again, who in their right mind don't want to write off? If they told you every time you went out to eat, we'll give you a 50% off coupon, you wouldn't use yours. You'll be like, no, I just want to pay full price. No, you would use the coupon. And I think that's a big deal. But here's probably what I consider the best one of all. How many of y'all ever seen kids, know what they look like, or probably had some yourself? Everybody? Well, guess what? If you're a responsible parent, you're taking care of that child or children. Would y'all agree? All right, that's what responsible people do. But guess what the IRS says? They said if you have children and you have a business, what you should do is hire your kids to help you in your business. Because instead of now giving them allowances or just buying stuff for them, you now are giving them what is called wages. And wages are tax deductible. See, the law says you can pay a child up to, what is it, $6,300 a year per child. So if I have 2, which I do, those are my daughters there, if I only paid them $4,500, didn't max it out, times 2, that's $9,000, I get to subtract off my taxable income. And the money given to them is 100% tax-free if they're under 18. Now a lot of people say, well, what happens if they're over 18? No big deal, you can still take it off, you just have to get them 1099 because they figure at 18 they're probably going to be working for mom and dad and probably without got a what? Part-time job, and the government won't get some money. Okay? So the bottom line is, we now can take the same money that we were spending, wasn't writing it off, hurting, struggling to take care of our children because we didn't know this strategy right here. See folks, that's what income shifting is all about. We're actually shifting knowledge so that you can get more of your money working for who? Working for you. Does that make sense? All right? So when you do all the calculations, guess what? After you take out what this person pays in taxes and what this one pays, this one gets a $2,434 refund, this one gets a $4,733 refund. Now, if I said, if this was money on this side of the room and money on that side of the room, I said on the count of 3, I want everybody to jump up and run in the pile of their choice. Which side of the room would be packed?
Right.
That's correct. See, y'all all passed the test. It's called the common sense test. All right? It just makes sense to get a bigger refund by taking deductions and get your own money back. Matter of fact, that's so popular. Last year, one of the largest companies that do taxes, guess what they did? They had a campaign called Get Your Money Back, Get Your Billions Back. And that's what we're teaching you how to do. All right? Now, here's the discipline that comes with all of this. I know it sounds good, but if you don't properly document this and you were to get audited, you're going to be in trouble. All right, because you can run down there with them raggedy, faded receipts if you want to. Talking about, I took this deduction and they can't see it, can't read it. And every time they ask you for something, you got to do what I call the upstairs run. Y'all know what that is, right? Every time they need something, you got to run upstairs and look for it. All right, you're going to be in trouble. But we have a way to solve that. As part of the business package, it comes with what is called the cash flow manager. So ladies and gentlemen, you have a way to keep up with all of those particular items. You can do it on your smartphone, tablet, computer. You enter in your income and your expenses, and you can even capture things with your computer, not your computer, but your smartphone. It has a camera on there. You can actually capture the receipts, and guess what? You have that properly documented. Because receipts do what?
Fade.
They fade. Now, it goes on a spreadsheet that simply looks like this. What the IRS requires is basically 5 things: the date, the amount, the who, what, and where. If you have that properly documented, you're not going to have any trouble. What happens here, when you hit this bar here, a whole list of items that are usually tax deductible fall down, and you pick the one that applies to you. This one here is meals and entertainment. So they spent $35, and you can also put your mileage for up to 3 cars in there. Now it's properly what? Documented. Y'all think that's important?
Yes.
See, it's like this. Mess with me now. Alright? Because I got it properly documented. Then we put it on a spreadsheet so that you know exactly what you're spending in each category. Now, when you present yourself like that, like a professional, they don't mess with you. They don't mess with you. They only crucify the one that's got them faded receipts, can't find nothing, and then that's the person who runs out and tell all their friends, well, I got all that, I want to do that business thing. Yeah, but they weren't doing it right. And we're teaching people how not only to be in business, but how to do it right. Right? I believe there's a right way to do things, and there's a wrong way to do things. We choose the right way. All right? Now, so what does the person get when they come on board? They get their own website. Now, this website was strategically designed so that you don't have to design your own. Because if we have people designing their own websites, y'all know ain't no telling what we would have on these websites. Okay? So through duplication, everybody gets the same thing. That way we can train on it. Everything's in the same spot when I talk to somebody, whether they're here or live in Arkansas. It doesn't matter. So here's the deal. When you come on board, you get your website. First of all, you have the cash flow manager. We just talked about that. We have credit counseling and credit restoration. We'll talk about that a little more. ID Defender, I believe this is probably going to become our biggest product. Because right now, if you're in the computer age, which we are, and growing every day, there's somebody right now that has nothing else to do trying to figure out how to hack your information. So we have a way to prevent that from happening, or if it does happen, how to restore it. So that product right there, I think, is going to be awesome going forward. You should be talking to your friends about that. Also, we have what is called cashback mall and travel. Those are things that people are going to do regardless. We're just going to teach them how to do it and make it what? Tax deductible. And last but not least is a product I definitely love. It's called the Family Shield 360. And that's the one that helps you protect a lot of your assets and make sure that you're covered with things that are important. Now let's talk about getting paid. Who here needs some extra money? Anybody need some extra money? All right, Jordan's hands up. All right, so this is for Jordan. All right, Jordan ain't playing around. See, I know I was his age once, and someone's going to teach me how to make an extra $2,000 or $3,000. It's like, hey, talk to me, all right? Because I know I'm ready to go to work. So here's what happens. First of all, when you come get involved with us, we told you that the investment was how much?
$195.
That's right. That's it. To be in business for yourself, and that allows you to write off everything that you do that's business related, tax deductible. Y'all think that's a good investment?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And by the way, because it's a business expense, guess who pays for it? The government. You get to write it off. Okay? So here's what happens. When you first come on board, you are considered what is called a marketing director, an MD. An MD is on a 25% contract. Now, what that simply means is if you take a look at what we call the commission value, in this case is $100, 25% of $100 is $25. So if you put a person in business, you make how much? $25. Put another one in business, you make what? $25. Now notice here it says get what first? 2. So the reason I'm pointing that out because all a person has to do here is put 2 people in business. In other words, find 2 people who got what I call common sense and they know they need what you're talking about. Put them in business and you get promoted to the next level. Now, just in case out there we have folks that don't, they have this preconceived notion they can't talk to people. You know, it's amazing. I just wonder what world they live in. Okay, but for whatever the reason, fine. You don't want to talk to people? No problem. Just tell people to go to your website. Go to your website. When you do that enough and your arm is hurting, you can put what? $200 of CPCV. That means we got products that you can market off your site when the value of those products equal what? $200, just like it would when you put a person in, it's 100, put in 2, that's 200. So what gets you promoted is $200 of CV. Is everybody clear? So you can get it putting people in business, which I believe is the easiest way to do it, or you can do it putting products on your site. It's up to you, because whose business is it? It's your business, all right? Now, once you do that, you get what? Promoted. You get promoted to Executive Vice President. At that point, you get a 50% contract. So that would be like if this was orientation, and they said to you, you know, we're glad to have you guys here, we're going to pay you all $25,000. But what we like to do with our new associates or our new people that we bring on is offer them a challenge. If you can find us 2 people we can hire here in this firm, we'll pay you 50. Man, if somebody said that to me, my hand would go up. I'd be like, well, how fast can we get them in here? I'd probably be like, can you excuse me, please? I'd go find me 2 people and get that done and start off at 50. You have that same opportunity there to double your rate of return or your commission on your sales. Everybody clear? Now, you're on a 50% contract. So when you put a person in business, an MD, they're on a 25% contract. Guess what your override is? 25%. Hold up a minute. You mean to tell me when somebody I put in business, once I become an EVP, put somebody else in business, I get paid too? Oh, heck, it's on now. Okay, it's on now. See, I'm excited now when I put people in business because I see now I'm not going to be the only person making my what? My money. It's funny how that's all right for your employer, but for some reason people question it when they are allowed to come in business for themselves. That amazes me. And for all of my associates, that's really nothing but how to handle an objection that you better learn how to handle, okay? Because they don't know, they've been employees all their lives, and the employee thinks like an employee, okay? That's the way it is. Now, you also can market products off your site, and assuming you are meeting the production requirements, you can get 100% off the products that you market yourself. So that means the CV on that product, let's say the CV was $3.40 for a product. If you market that product yourself personally, you will be paid 100% of that $3.40. If one of your associates market it, and they're on a 15% on products, you get what? 85% of that. So it's on and popping now. Would y'all agree? All right, so now let's put some people in business. Whose business is it? It's your business. So if I know I need some money, man, I'm not talking about what's happening on Empire. I don't care what's happening on Scandal. I don't care what's happening on How to Kill Your Mama or How to Get Away with Murder, whatever it's called. I don't care. Because I don't get paid. I don't even watch football. I don't care. Now I do get drugged in every now and then by somebody, but you know, I don't even watch football. Okay? Because I don't care. Those guys are running up and down the field making millions of dollars. I ain't making a dime watching them. I'd rather be doing what I'm doing right now, talking to you at your home party to generate some more people in business so we can make some more money and get free. Okay? Now that's just me. Y'all do what you want. Okay? I just think that people learn how to utilize their time a little more wisely, do things that get you free, cut back on some of the things that don't make you money, we can all get free a lot quicker. Okay? So you can go out now, every time you personally talk to somebody, you make 50 bucks. Now, when your associates do it, they make what? 25, and you make what? All right? That thing is starting to compound here. Okay? Starting to compound. But here's the good news. Once you become an EVP, and 7 people enter your business, whether you put them in personally or somebody else puts them in, look what happens. Matter of fact, if you put them in personally, your bonus will be $1,000, plus you got paid $350 because if you take 50 times 7, that's $350, and add to 1,000, that's $1,350. That's what you make if you did it personally. If they were all put in by somebody else, that means you was at the beach that week. You was chilling. When you came back, there was $1,175. That means 7 people came into your business. They were all put in by your associates. But guess what? You make 25% off 7 people. That's $175. But your bonus is still a what? $1,000. So why is it folks would want to get involved with us? Now this ain't potions and lotions and all that other kind of stuff. We ain't doing that. We're teaching people income shifting. Stuff that if you don't learn, you're going to be working like a dog for the rest of your life. Don't complain. Because we have a solution, we just hope they can hear. All right? And if that wasn't enough, folks, this is where the residual comes in. Do y'all know that they now, for every person that's in your downline, after they've been in business for 6 months, you're paid anywhere from $3 to $8 per person. So to keep that simply put, if you have, let's just say you have 100, 200 people in your business. At that level, that'd be like $5 a person. Let's see, 200 times 5, what is that? Right? How much?
10,000.
All right. No, it's about 1,000, right? All right.
1,000.
1,000. Okay. That comes in every month, no matter what. They didn't say those folks had to go out, put anybody in business or anything. As long as they're taking care of their monthly $34.95, as long as they're in business, you're getting paid. It's like a franchise fee. I think that's worth working for. Mess around and get that to 1,000. That's $8 a month per person. That's $8,000 a month. Do you know that would change most people's lives forever? I think it's worth giving up a little scandal, a little empire, a little football. All right, to get that done, and then go back and what? Chill. All right. So your first 30 days when you come on board, your goal is to put how many folks in business? 10 folks. Because not only would you get promoted, you'd also get a bonus. Then you get to stand before your friends and say, my first 30 days, they paid me $1,375. Boy, wouldn't that be nice? So I hope you folks that get involved with us understand, come in here running. Let's make it happen. Matter of fact, we have a program now. I had the opportunity to meet with some brothers out in, I think in Knoxville, Tennessee, or Kentucky, one of those places. I always get them confused. But nevertheless, they call themselves the Cash Brothers, and we talked extensively about how to put people in business and get them promoted within 48 days. I mean, not 48 days, 48 what? Hours. We don't want to take 48 days, okay? 48 hours. And I think that's a powerful program, and it's doing it for people who want to what? Win and get it done. Okay? So, that's how that works. Now, we're going to wrap it up with this. Asset accumulation comes from a lot of different things. It comes from you reducing your expenses. Now, here's a person, this is some of their expenses. Y'all seen these before. They had tires, cell phone, eat out, car insurance, cable. Would that be pretty much everybody in here? Okay? Now, what we do is we sit down with that person, we evaluate that, and then we get back in touch with them because we did the cash flow strategist for them. All right? Everyone should get that done. All right? There's no reason for us to guess what you need to do to get your financial house going. Okay? I got folks in here, the time they got in the business, they did their cash flow strategist, found out where they were, and said, all right, here's what I realized I need to be doing. That's the way you do it, okay? So, we made some recommendations for this person. Notice we saved some money on certain items, okay? When you do the math on all the things we saved the money on, it comes up to $300. So this person already has the money, but in their mind, they just had something else to do with it. So we gave them some ways that they can cut back on their cell phone, stop eating out every day, car insurance. We're fortunate enough to show people how to save money there, and cable TV. This person had the full, I guess, NFL package. But they work 50, 60 hours a week. So when they sitting there lazy boy, guess what they're doing?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. Don't make no sense. So we cut that down to basics, and we freed up an extra $100. But we're going to income shift that money into something more what? Positive for that person. And we got the plan to do that. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. Y'all excited?
Yes.
All right, that's what it's all about. So now we take that extra money and we say, look here, we're going to show you how to take all the bills that you have right now that you're paying on that will be paid off for some time. Let's take a look at it. This person got a furniture bill, $8,000. This is what they're sitting in. Take them 32 months to pay it off. This one here, $17,400 a month, take them 43 months. Y'all get the math. This student loan, $19,000, sending $200 a month, take 95 months to pay it off. So if you add all that up, they'll be out of debt in how long? 156 what? Months. That's if they don't create any more new debt. Are you with me? So you and I have the opportunity to sit down with this person and say, look here. If I can show you a way to minimize your what? Your taxes, eliminate your debt, so forth and on, would you be interested? They better say, yeah, or you need to be moving quickly from them because you don't want to catch what they got. Okay? I'm being honest with you. If I'm talking to somebody and they don't want to get debt-free and save investment money, I'm out of there. I'm out of there so quick. God bless you. I'm going to give them the blessing of the Lord, and I'm out of there. All right? I'm gone. But here's what we're able to do. You see, we're going to say, look here, Bob, you got that $300 that we saved you monthly. And if you get involved with us, we showed you how to make a $1,000 bonus at least every month. we're just going to take half of it because I know you want to spend a little something, something. So if they do that, that's how much? That's $800. So now this person has a reason for being in business. We call it a compelling reason. They're compelled to want to do something because they want to get debt free. Now what we're going to do, we're going to say, now Bob, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that $800 and we're going to send it to that first bill. All right, you were paying how much for that? $250. Add $800 to it. We now are going to send that bill how much? $1,050. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. What's going to happen to the amount of time it takes to pay off that bill? We're going to knock it out in 7 months. Wow. Now, in 7 months, because we're still in debt, you don't have no extra money. See, people mess up here if they're not involved with us. Because they say, I paid the bill off, and I got this extra money, and then they go get back in what? Debt. Because they didn't have a plan to get out of it. Well, they're still in debt. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that extra $1,050 and we're going to put that towards the next bill of $400, and guess what? We're going to keep the process going. Because when we do that, we'll be out of debt here in how many months? 11 months. Then we're going to take $1,450 added to the $300, and we're sending them what? $1,750. We'll get out of debt in what?
8 months.
8 months. Then we're going to take that $1,750 added to the $200, send them $1,950. We'll be out of debt in what? 9 months. And then we're going to take the rest of it and put it towards that mortgage. Yes. And that's what one of our associates is doing right now. Wise person takes the extra money and commits it to why they came in this business, is to get debt free. What sense would it make to come here to make a whole lot of money and still be broke? You might as well keep your job, because that's what you were doing, the job. Okay? Now, we're out of debt. Hallelujah. All right? Debt freedom. That's what it's all about. And if you're talking to people about that, we should have no problem getting people involved with what we do. All right? Now, they have all that extra money. Y'all saw that. They got that $2,800 something dollars. So guess what? We can say you can take some of it or take all of it and start doing what with it? Investing aggressively now. See, the reason people aren't investing aggressively now because they're so jacked up in debt. But if we can get you out of debt and teach you not to create no new bills, then we can take the money that you were used to not having anyway, put it towards an investment. So now they're putting that money in investment. Y'all see what happens after 10 years? After 12 years? After 15 years. So in 15 years, this person right here, if they invested all of, got an extra $4,494 coming in every month if they don't ever touch their principal. And they're debt free, by the way. Can you imagine getting an extra $4,000 a month and don't owe anybody anything? Would it help take the edge off just a little bit?
Just a little.
All right? So they had the money all along, but they didn't know how to properly do income shifting, and they just stay broke and they make everybody else wealthy except for them. We don't think that's a good idea. That's why we say what? My economy. Let's get ourselves fixed. So ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the bottom line is you can get involved tonight. We have packages here for you to take advantage of the opportunity tonight. All right? Now, let me get rid of some of the things that we hear people say. Sometimes people say, well, I got to think about it. And I'm just one of those guys that ask, well, what is it you got to think about? Getting debt free? Saving money for your future? Being able to write off everything you do? I'm curious. Beyond that, what else more you got to think about? What people are thinking about it should be thinking about is how much debt they in and how fast I can get out of it to get free. All right. Then every once in a while we have some people that say, well, I got to pray about it. Y'all ever heard that before? Yeah. I got to pray about it. Oh, you got to go to the Lord to see if it's okay to get out of debt? The last time I read the word, it says, owe no man what? Nothing. Owe nothing but to love him. So the bottom line is you got an opportunity to get out of debt. And I always ask people, well, did you pray to get in it? That amazes me. So why you got to pray to get out of it? All right, so hopefully we won't hear none of that tonight, but the bottom line is you got an opportunity to change your life. The website is, like we said, is $199.95, and then 30 days later, they start the monthly technology fee, which is $34.95. And by the way, all of that is 100% what? Tax deductible. The government is paying you to be in business for yourself. No excuses. But that stuff people are doing now, they're not getting paid nothing for doing it, and they are justifying that instead of justifying getting free. That's why you need to find people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired and willing and ready to do something about it. Okay? You get a world-class business income system, a world-class financial software comes with it, identity theft protection comes with it, free and discounted legal services. So if you don't have your will in place, you need to get that in place. Y'all ever see a fight at a funeral? It's not, I've seen it. Okay? So that's not because mom and dad left them an inheritance. Okay? That's because they broke and they're arguing who's going to pay for this. And it breaks out when all those emotions are together. See? So we got a way to make sure that never happens to any of our associates, because you can get that taken care of right up. And we actually require it of people that come to business with us. Income tax advice about your taxes, preparation, credit, education and services. And we also have online marketing. We have a gentleman that's an expert in the field who teaches us how to do this online every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Okay? So again, we have an opportunity to be in business, put it out there on the web, attract people that way while you still talk to people on your left, on your right, and in front of you, and build your business. So ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our presentation. And the bottom line is, it says that knowledge is what? Not yet, knowledge is power. But the bottom line is that true?
Yes.
All right. Actually, it's not true. Knowledge is power when applied. So it's applied knowledge. You can take everything you heard here tonight and do what with it? Nothing. How's it going to help you? You got to apply it to what you're doing. And I suggest the reason that you get involved is so that you're surrounded by other people fighting for the same thing. It increases your chances of being successful. Now, if you go out there all by yourself like the Lone Ranger, and you get met with some opposition and you have nobody to help you through it, you know, we know at night your attitude is doing just like this in the business. Okay? Get around positive people who are fighting, and it can happen for you. So we appreciate you coming out tonight, and notice what it says. The evolution will be what? Monetized, because it's about your money, honey. God bless you, and we'll see you at the TOP. Thank you very much.